This is Owex Solo, the cineMADvocate. Look at that smile, not a care in the world. Figuring out which movies are good and bad should be easy, even for this dumb dope. But when you look inside Owex Solo's head, you'll understand why he has trouble making up his mind. On one side,
I'm his fanboy side. Without my unabashed love for movies, this pasty tub over here wouldn't even exist.
and on the other side,
I'm the cinephile side, and I don't just watch films, I critique them. And as an award-winning filmmaker, we are perfectly prepared to let you know why damn near every movie that has ever been made, short of Deflator Mass, is a waste of the film that it was shot on. Yeah, I totally disagree.
and seriously, this happens damn near every single movie. Sometimes they agree, usually they don't. But whose argument will Owex side with in the end? It's always a battle inside Owex's head, and he's constantly stuck being of two minds.
Greetings, my excellent friends. Cinephile here, and apparently you've been invited into our humble abode to, well, debate, so to speak, I suppose would be the right term, the merits of one Howard the Duck. Are you kidding me? You can't be serious. What is there to debate? One of the worst movies of all time. A film that not only confuses genres, but seems to confuse itself. A supposed comedy that is as much of a mystery to itself as it is to the audience. It's but wrong. Fanboy here, and I can defend this flick, and I can defend it on like multiple levels, like 3D Star Trek chess style. Let me start with 2 points, okay? A, no fan of Howard the Duck finds this movie mysterious whatsoever. And 2, it's kind of the beauty of it anyway. Howard the Duck is a fearless foray into uncharted waters of cinematic oddity. The blend of adventure, comedy, a little touch of romance with a duck. And I'm telling you right now that if you're still parroting the exact same reviews that came out in 1986, you are giving it a fair shot. When it came out, people didn't get it because it was way ahead of its time. Ahead of its time? A movie about a duck and a woman falling in love. First of all, he's not a duck any more than you are a slightly hairless ape. Okay, that's kind of the point of the entire movie. Secondly, you would think that a cinephile would appreciate the metaphors that are baked deep into this movie regarding immigration, interracial relationships, and third, what the hell is up with that accent, man? We are from Albuquerque. Well, tend to slip into it when I get nervous, as I am now, what with this being the first episode and all, and but I've been told to do quite a decent British accent. Yeah, by me in here when we're drunk, but remember the last time? I speak like this, and when you speak like that, you make the dork on the outside sound like this.
Tell me a little bit about why you want to be our communications director.
Okay, point well taken, but this movie still sucks, so let's get into it.
What is, what was, and what will be start here with the words, in the beginning there was Howard the Duck.
The movie starts out with the introduction of Howard T. Duck, and we see the world's lamest, what the hell are you doing? I'm starting the review. Oh, well, yeah, let me guess, one of those tired YouTube reviews where we go through the movie making meta references and obvious jokes the whole time, basically negating the need for our audience to watch the movie and form their own opinion, thus programming an entire generation of people to start spreading our opinion about the movie without fully knowing whether or not they agree with it. Yes? I mean, that does sound kind of cool. Yeah. All right, a little bit. Yeah, but no, we're not doing that. Oh, come on, I got like 6 pages of jokes here. I got a great bit in the third act where I do a Jacob Ladder reference because Tim Robbins wasn't Jacob. It sounds like a genuine knee slapper, and see if you can work it in. But if I have to give up my accent, you're going to give up your jokes. You want to defend this schlock, you got to come with more than a few lame Back to the Future jokes, I assume. 3 of them. This is going to be fun. Okay, let's consider the actual storyline. You have your very typical fish out of water plot after Howard the Duck is accidentally pulled from his planet through space and dimension to our planet, and over the course of 2 hours via a roller coaster ride of slapstick humor, awkward romance, and a second act that suddenly remembered, oh, Howard is supposed to be a superhero from the comic books. And it introduces a dark overlord of the universe by way of creepy for other reasons, Jeffrey Jones. The film juggles these tones like Howard juggles his new life on Earth, which is to say, clumsily. But please, a guy who can belch his name and the first 6 letters of the alphabet, I'm sure you have a totally reasonable and lucid reason for why you love this film. Well, first off, let me tell you that that's not surprisingly a very simplistic overview of this movie, okay? I love it when people try and dismiss a movie because they're able to identify themes that they've seen in other storytelling. Congratulations, you just graduated the 3rd grade. As if being a fish out of water story inherently makes it bad, simply because of the existence of other fish out of water. I don't exactly think that I put it that way. What I was trying to say was not finished. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up shifts in tone while also knocking it for being a fish out of water movie, because fish out of water movies are almost universally shift in tone movies. So whether it's the classic like Masters of the Universe, Beastmaster 2, or the Australian sensation Mr. Crocodile Dundee. That's pretty good. Thank you. The movie embraces its comic book roots, okay? It throws realism out the window for the sake of fun, and isn't that the core of entertainment anyway? Plus, the character of Howard, he brings a unique twist to the hero archetype in every duck who rises to the occasion. And yet, the film's execution leaves so much to be desired. The dialogue ranges from cheesy to downright nonsensical, serving up one-liners that feel more forced than witty. And what about this? Oh, yes, of course, I should have known this was coming. The scene that everyone points to as the reason why this movie's bad. Yeah. The obligatory boob shot. And you're going to defend it. I mean, they've made songs about how absurd this is on the internet. Yeah, super clever songs, too. And all over literally 3 seconds worth of film. We should totally act like the entire movie has stuff like this. Oh, and by the way, that weirdly uncomfortable tit shot, yeah, that's like the entire point. This entire scene is a parody of pop culture in the 1980s. Movie references, commercials, game shows, soap operas, and yep, obligatory tit shots that ran rampant in the 1980s. Remember the random tit shot in Airplane? How is this any different? It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's commentary on how those shots serve no real purpose and are often there just to make the viewers squirm. You think that women don't have the exact same? Why? What was the purpose of that reaction when they see random tits in other movies for literally no reason? I mean, that's really interesting interpretation. And hey, let's not pretend like you didn't love this scene as a kid. But that's hardly the point, but to my recollection, I believe we both enjoyed the scene quite a bit as children, so true fact, but you control the right arm, if you know what I'm saying. Okay. You know what? Now I'm getting a little bit heated because you call yourself a cinephile. Well, let's not overlook the film's deeper layers, okay? Howard is treated like an outcast from the start. It's actually a more metaphor of how we demonize the other, often treating foreigners with suspicion and disdain. He's literally called an illegal alien at one point. Despite all of the hate, Howard decides to stay, giving up any chance of returning home. Powerful statement about finding one's place against all odds. Must admit, that's definitely a perspective that we hardly ever consider, and it does add a significant layer to the narrative. And this movie does have a few more things going for it than shut up, nerd. Here's the part where Beverly starts to gear down. And see, and then there's this scene. Why? It's downright disgusting. Howard and Beverly almost getting intimate. It's cringe-inducing, and it's completely unnecessary. It completely derails any semblance of taste the film might have had. Okay, so you didn't even understand the scene? Are you like Leah Thompson's daughter, who like goes around being like, "Oh, my mom made love to a duck," and what is there to understand exactly? It's a duck and a human verging on romantic encounters. How is that acceptable or meaningful in any context? Look, let me ask you, were you grossed out when Thor and Padme got together? Oh, I'm sorry, what's your angle? It's not a trick question, not a trap. Were you grossed out by Thor and Padme getting together? No, in fact, I rather enjoyed the chemistry and the quirky nature. Yeah, and what about Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana in Avatar? Or Zoe Saldana and Spock? Zoe and Star-Lord? No, of course not. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, that was a trap.
That's racist! That's racist! That's racist!
How was that racist? Because the problem wasn't the species, bro. It was the packaging. It is made clear throughout that not only is Howard the exact same as a human, just evolved from a duck, but they even acknowledge the evolutionary ladder is taught in school in the duck world. Hell, we see he has a human condom. It's the movie's way of saying Howard is not a duck. He's a human analog who evolved from ducks, and he's got human plumbing, and he's not some alien nightmare anatomy. What the hell's that supposed to... Oh, ew. Take it away, please. No. And he's the most human example that I have given. Look, let's just move on, okay? What about the fact that after this point, the movie basically devolves into your generic superhero plot? I would say, what freaking superhero movies have you been watching? All of them. Let me give you a quick rundown of this generic superhero plot. Okay, so Howard returns to the lab to head home, and there's a huge explosion, and Dr. Jennings seems out of it. From there on, Dr. Jennings starts transforming from the inside out until he reveals himself to be this badass, comic book accurate Dark Overlord. I know, how dare a comic book movie actually follow the comic book? So you admit it devolves into generic comic book territory. No, I didn't, and no, it didn't. First of all, if I was gonna grant your little premise, I would argue that if anything, it helped to establish the comic book trope since it was the first one that have become so generic. And if you don't believe me, let's go ahead and take a look at the parallels between Howard and the movie Thor. Shit. You're right, it is the same movie. Yes, and all right, here we are at the climax, and there is no way that you can hate on Howard's heroic showdown with the Dark Overlord. Hate to disappoint, but this climax is an absolute mess. The special effects are dated. They look cheap, especially when you compare them to other movies from the same era, like Back to the Future or Ghostbusters. The battle feels anticlimactic, and the stakes don't feel real. It's supposed to be this big moment, but it fails on almost every single level. Are you serious right now? Like, when did comparing effects to other effects become legitimate criticism? Seriously, do people compare the effects of the original King Kong to the original Godzilla? I am so tired of that crutch of cinephilism. So unless a special effect is so bad it takes you completely out of the movie, you really shouldn't be talking about it in regard to the effectiveness of the movie. And let me tell you why. The original Star Wars, even at the time, had some janky-ass effects, right next to some revolutionary ones. But guess what? People praised them both. As well they should. But the scene is still anticlimactic. The stakes don't feel genuine, and it's hard to take it serious. What does that even mean? Okay, first of all, that's completely subjective. If you're invested in the character the way you were as a kid, the climax is absolutely awesome. Howard has a huge one-on-one battle with the Dark Overlord, defeats him, and then has to choose whether to save Earth by destroying the machine or allow the Dark Overlords to arrive and take over Earth and use the machine to go back home. It's a heroic climax, no different than any other Marvel movie that would come out. And by the way, the same people that call this emotionally impactful and action-filled ending anticlimactic are also the people that criticize modern movies for having way too much action in the final act and not enough emotion. Is there someone else I can do this show with? Where's Foodie? You don't want to see Foodie, bro. He's in a bad way.
God, I'm just so damn hungry. Oh, God. Oh. What you got over there? What is that, shrimp? Get some of that.
Okay, look. If this movie is so great, then how do you explain it absolutely bombing at the
There
box
it is,
office?
everyone.
Congrats, Cinephile. You just saved the day. Secret word. Box office. That tired-ass reasoning that has been used since Shitskull and Queeford shouted out in 1986. So you're saying that it's unfair to talk about the box office failure that was Howard the Duck? No, not at all. But how about a little context there, Sporto? Okay, look, folks. Here's some of the movies that came out that year, okay? Another one. Top Gun, Aliens, Stand By Me, Platoon, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Hoosiers, Highlander, The Fly remake, Big Trouble in Little China, Pretty in Pink, Crocodile Dundee. Stop you when you get to a movie that you would have chosen Howard the Duck to see in the cinema instead of that. But it's still bomb compared to its budget. It says you. Did it make 3 times its budget to be considered a profit? No. But it did make its money back in the theaters. And by the way, Top Gun essentially ushered in a new wave of VHS rentals and purchases. And Howard the Duck was one of the top rentals for years after it was released. Look it up. Calling Howard the Duck a straight-up flop ignores the 1980s reality that home video was already starting to eclipse theatrical dollars. The duck laid an egg at the multiplex, but on America's living room VCRs, quacked out a solid second win profit. 6 takes, by the way. I don't even know where to begin, so let's just wrap this up. Well, I'll go first. No, I'll go first. In my professional opinion, Howard the Duck is a disjointed, poorly executed film that fails to meet even the basic standards of good cinema. Its confused narrative, subpar effects, and lackluster performances make it a relic at best, and best left in the past. And from where I stand, Howard the Duck is absolutely misunderstood masterpiece. It's bold, adventurous. It's a film that dared to be different, offering a unique blend of humor, action, and heart. It's a cult classic that deserves a lot more recognition than it gets.
Look, I freaking love Howard the Duck. And yes, of course, some of it is nostalgia, but watching it again here in 2025 made me realize it's chock full of tropes, trends, and even messages present in current Marvel movies. Not only was it ahead of its time, helping to establish the fish out of water hero movies that would come after it, movies like Thor and, well, the Thor movies, which makes me wonder, what if it was released today? Would it still be so misunderstood, or would it be, as I predict, be trashed for being too woke because of its inclusion type of messages? It's really an interesting debate, but one thing that's really not up for debate is that this movie, with its cult following that, yes, includes myself, has kept Howard the Duck relevant long enough to have 3 completely unexplained cameos in the Marvel movies, and they've also done stuff in What If. Look, I get that it's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but a couple of words of advice. First off, if you haven't seen it, check it out, form your own opinion. And second, if all the reviews that you've ever seen of this movie focus on duck tits and box office score, you gotta wonder, are they really giving you the whole story? Whether you watch movies as a cinema fan or a cinephile, remember to always be a cineMADvocate like me, because the best movie reviews are always of 2 minds. We'll see you next week.
As long as we've got movies, we've got the world in our hands. From cult classics to blockbusters, lands through laughter and tears. The passion won't quit. Owex Solo, the cineMADvocate.
Studio. Whoa. Hey, you remember that show, Herman's Head?